Good morning, folks. Welcome to Deep River Farm. I wanted to do a little comparison on some things this morning, on some things I'm seeing, things I'm hearing in the news, things that are quite disturbing about what's going on, and just kind of trying to put all this in perspective so that we can all get a good idea of what's really going on. If we go back as far as the East Palestine fires in Ohio, a lot of that stuff has not been answered. There's some possibilities that there were some individuals involved in that. It's an ongoing investigation about that train, the train derailment and all those chemicals and all that stuff. And those folks that are still there are still battling all the toxins and things that have yet to be cleaned up. And that type of thing. And something's crazy going on right there. Don't know exactly what it is or what it's about. That was the first of a major disaster that had taken place. And then you move on to the Lahaina fires and everything that took place over there. And this was the first big shot at a. I need to put this out as on the phonetic alphabet to so this don't get pulled as a Lima Alpha. I don't know if you need to go all the way through it or not. We will. Lima Alpha November Delta. If you take those first letters there, and then go with Golf Romeo Alpha Bravo. If you follow me there. And there was a lot of negligence among local officials on the reaction, the timeliness of different utilities there, got the blame for it. Mainly the electrical company got the blame for it. When the water was shut off and everything else, and there was a lot of blame placed on the electrical company. Well, I tell you, I don't buy that. I think it was moved over to the electrical company to avoid the political fallout, the political shortfalls, the lack of people doing their job that could have prevented a lot of this massive fire. And then I'm going to put something in there that people are not talking about, and that is the disappearance of all the children. Where did they go? What's happened? It's never been talked about. So it makes me think there's a lot of nefarious stuff going on with that particular incident. And then we're going to fast forward to Western North Carolina's hurricane. And this big fiasco, once this thing hit, we was no support. You would think that a state that houses major armed forces bases in North Carolina would have been sent in to assist using the latest technology, thermal imaging, that type of thing, to help locate people from the flood, which never took place. None of that was ever allocated. And they said, we sent military in and this, that, and the other. Well, we did have National Guard troops from North Carolina go in, and hey, they done a fantastic job. But as far as the regular military, there was a very small number came in, and the ones that came in, I know for 3 days straight sat with the Chinook helicopters at the local airport there in Asheville, awaiting orders. So they just sat there. And there was a lot of stuff that went on when Foxtrot Echo Mike Alpha showed up, taking people's donated supplies and stuff and taking them who knows where. And then we come to find out when they pulled out suddenly a few weeks ago, all this food and water and all this stuff that was set to be scheduled to be thrown away and destroyed. Where did they get it? Why was it not given to the people? And then the lack of funds that's come in from the government to assist, even on the state level. When the Helene bill from North Carolina was passed in the legislature, it got vetoed by the governor. Now, why would you do that? Well, in the bill, there was a lot of powers that was taken away from the governor's office because of the abuse of powers during the, we can't say the word, they'll pull it, so we're gonna call it the cough. So there was a lot of abuse of power during that time, shutting down places of worship, using different tactics and things to, knowing good and well that those coverings didn't work, but forcing those on the children, on people, and making out like these shots worked when they didn't, and just a lot of different things, utilizing powers that were abused. So they vetoed this, and then the very first thing that the governor did, which was Roy Cooper, and then the Attorney General at the time, Josh Stein, they went out filing lawsuits left and right against the GOP for overriding the veto. They had rather get their agenda through than help get the money to Western North Carolina, knowing good and well the abusive powers that the governor took advantage of, and that bill prohibited the governor from ever doing that again, bypassing the council, state council and everything on his stuff that he was going around and not fulfilling what he was supposed to do by law and circumventing that. So he deserved to lose those powers, and I think it was good that they brought that in the bill, and it's a good time to do it. But that just showed you right there that they was more concerned with their power than helping the folks of Western North Carolina. And we're still waiting on government help. When this thing happened, they said they was going to be 100% behind and helping do whatever needs was necessary for Western North Carolina, but we've not seen any of that money. And then when it come to find out, Foxtrot Echo Mike Alpha was broke, and they waited until we had this hurricane and Milton and all that coming up together to actually be discovered that all this money was going to house the people that was coming up through the southern side of us, across the Rio. You can't say the word, but you know who I'm talking about. They were getting all the food and gift cards and free phones and free internet and free housing and all this, while people in Western North Carolina was starting to freeze to death. So if we fast forward this a little bit now to the fires out west, the California wildfires, there's a lot of questions, I'd say, that people need to ask themselves. They got numbers of fires going on, and the very first thing out of their mouth is I think it's like 6 or 7 huge fires, and they all of a sudden started saying it was climate change. Well, that ain't got a thing to do with it. All these fires don't start at one time. And then you have into play that the mayor is out of the country over in some place for some political thing, and then I'm finding out that this mayor is also involved in a lot of Marxist stuff. Marxism has been involved in this. thing. It was set up in 1969 in the United States. That mayor's been visiting Cuba, speaks highly of Castro, deeply involved in basically trying to bring the United States down in this organization she's involved in. She also stripped the Los Angeles Fire Department of over $17 million in budget cuts. Also, all of the spare fire trucks and ambulances was shipped over to Ukraine. It's been very minor talk about that, but all of the excess equipment that was available has been shipped to Ukraine, along with all of our tax dollars that everybody in North Carolina says if the state of North Carolina was renamed Ukraine, we would have unlimited funds. But my theory on that is if they sent the funds to North Carolina, the money could be traced, it could be held accountable. People could for the monies that was spent and where it went. But if it goes overseas, it's not trackable, it's not traceable, it's non-accountable, and this money flows back into these big groups, super PACs, political parties, and politicians' pockets, where that wouldn't be able to be done if it went into North Carolina. Now, do I have any proof of that? No, but that's my belief. And I think I'm right on target with that. And but then you go back to the situation of all these fires starting at one time, and the first thing they said was climate change and wildfires. I think these things, they all simultaneously started. Somebody had to do that. They just don't all start. And they're already going the route of the Lahaina fires, blaming it on electricity companies. They do this to keep themselves from being in the hot seat, these politicians, when they're at fault. Number one being, the reservoirs were empty that house and store water for the fire hydrants. You turn a fire hydrant on and you have no water, it's because the reservoirs are empty. They can't blame it on climate change or anything like that because they had record amounts of rainfall last year. Everything is full that should be full. Why are the reservoirs empty? Why are these tanks empty? That's just nothing short of, they had no clue, by the way. That's just nothing short of somebody's not doing their job. And that person's job that's responsible for that makes about $300,000 a year. So how did you not know that your reservoirs were empty and your fire hydrants weren't working? Do they not test the hydrants? I mean, somebody had to know this. If the fire department, I know around here, they test hydrants quite frequently to make sure they're clear and free, and they flush them out to make sure, there's no mud and all that stuff backed up in the line or sediments or anything that would prevent that hydrant from properly working. So, they're trying to make out like the hydrants just had no water in them. Well, they had to know that there's no water in them. You don't have a 117 million gallon reservoir sitting empty and expect the hydrants to work. So why was this not brought to attention beforehand? But there's a lot of issues going on with this, and it all boils down to mismanagement. All these DEI woke hiring things that they've got going on out there. And people continue to vote these people back into office. So if you continue to put these people that have no common sense back into office, expecting a different outcome, maybe you're on the same mental level as they are. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome. That's not going to happen. But, a lot of people are looking at this, and a lot of these homes that was built to current code have burnt to the ground, where a lot of these homes that was built with better and older materials out of concrete and brick and things like that, these homes are still standing. And Another thing that I was noticing is there's a lot of trees out there around these houses that burnt slap up, and the trees are still standing in green. So it makes me believe that through all of this forced efficiency, so-called stuff, the technology that was being forced on a lot of these newer homes using smart meters and things like that. If you look up the smart meters and things on the internet and their combustible temperatures and all that, you can see why these houses are completely incinerated, because these power banks in these homes, these smart homes, using these smart meters, they get to temperatures of 6,000 degrees. I don't even know how you would measure a temperature like that, but you can see why a lot of these homes just completely incinerated with all the copper and stuff they have in them with these smart homes, and the heat that's generated off of this because of that. But you'll have a house right next door that didn't have a smart meter on it, and they're still standing. So, you know, a lot of this is brought on by the I guess you'd just say stupidity of the controlling body of people out there that continue to vote those folks in of the same party. And they're finding out that these people are taking large sums of money and not doing their job, and incorporating different technologies, because it pads the pockets of the people within the state who donate to these big campaigns. So, you know, it don't take anybody that's too bright. I don't claim to be the brightest bulb in the fixture, but I can see what's going on, and I see how things are being run, and I see a lot of questions coming up. And, you know, if you are successful in taking out multi-million-dollar single-family homes, and they had no insurance. And why did they not have insurance? It's because companies just 3 months ago canceled all these folks' homeowners insurance due to the threat of fire. Well, the insurance companies are smart enough to realize that the state, mainly the governor and those that operate the LA County, have not been doing their job in preventing these fires by not doing these controlled burns and things to get all this old hot kindling, all this old brush and stuff out, setting it up for an inferno. And that's exactly what's taking place. And it's kind of strange how all of this just happened to start when they're forecasting 60 to 100 mile an hour winds, known a lot of times as the Santa Ana winds and things like that. You know, it just didn't happen all by itself, I can tell you that. I don't believe that. They can try to blow smoke up on everybody and gaslight everybody, but that ain't what happened here. Somebody or some group has an agenda behind it. But getting back to the multi-million-dollar pieces of property, you know, if you have no home left and you have no way of recouping that, and you've got a piece of property that's completely ruined and it's incinerated, why would these big developers not come in and stick in condominiums and apartments where they can get a whole lot more money out of people that would live on that same maybe quarter or 3/4 of an acre and make millions and millions and millions of dollars? There's something behind this, folks, and I'm going to tell you what I think it is. And I don't know how many of you have followed it, but if you'll look up the Agenda 2030, that's going to tell you a whole lot of stuff. And you just look and see what all is involved in that, and then you're going to come up with the 15-minute cities. And, you know, just so happens Los Angeles is to hold the 2028 Olympics. And they want the smart city set up and in place for the 2028 Olympics. So how convenient for everything to burn down around the area so that they can showcase to the world their 15-minute smart city. We'll just leave it at that. Some people want to call that a conspiracy theory. You know, the difference in a conspiracy theory and a true fact is just give it about 6 months and see where it all lands and where everything just kind of pans out. And then it don't become a theory anymore, it becomes a fact. So let's just see how this plays out. That's my opinion on it, and we'll just see. Time will tell. The truth will come out, and we'll all find out, you know, what the actual truth is. Just kind of like we've already done on several other things that's taken place over the last, let's say about 8 years. So the truth will come out. It might take it a while, and the only thing you're going to have to do is just follow the money. If you follow the money trail, it'll show up. I appreciate you joining me today on Deep River Farm. It's just some ideas I had, and something that we wanted to kind of bring to light, because something's awful fishy smelling, and I think we'll eventually find out the truth. I appreciate you joining me today. Y'all have a blessed day. Thanks for watching Deep River Farm.